You guys, I found something really interesting when looking up the impacts of Trump's tariffs. You got to check this out. So there's been a lot of speculation about Trump's tariffs and the impacts that they've had on the economy and just how bad is it. But then, and this was just a random thought that I had, how much of what we're seeing in expenses is actually not because of Trump's tariffs, but because of corporate greed. This is what I found, and this is interesting. And this is from, you can see the source there is the Federal Reserve Board and the Congressional Budget Office. The estimated impact of the 2025 tariffs on U.S. inflation is about 0.4 pp. Now, mind you, and I'm trying to be fair about this, that's for June of 2025. So if it's 0.4 pp, that's basically 0.4 percentage points on inflation. We know that we're not getting economic data right now for inflation because of the government shutdown. So we have to be dependent on experts to tell us what the impacts of these tariffs are going to be. I dug around and found the Congressional Budget Office, who made an article specifically talking about the tariffs. And this was back in June of 2025. And Chuck Schumer is actually in charge of the CBO, which I didn't know, which is interesting. But what I'm really interested in is right here. It says that inflation will increase by an annual average of 0.4 percentage points in 2025 and 2026 in the CBO's estimation, reducing the purchasing power of households and businesses. So that's that same number that we're seeing here. So according to the Federal Reserve and the Congressional Budget Office, we should see an additional expenditure of 0.4% on everything on average due to the tariffs. But now you got to check this out. So this is a chart that shows corporate profits versus the tariffs and their inflation drivers. And this comes from the Federal Reserve Bank and the BLS. So we can see in 2025, this orange is the tariffs. So this is the number we talked about. It's 0.4%. That's how much more inflation is because of the tariffs. However, this is corporate profits. So corporate profits are driving inflation to the tune of 2.2%. Now, what's interesting about this is in 2023 and 2024, they really didn't have much tariffs at all. I mean, yeah, we can see that tariffs raised them by 0.2% and 0.3% here, and then 0.4% here. But look at how much percentage corporate profits actually increased. So inflation raised by 0.4% and corporate profits raised by 2.3% as compared to 1.6% last year for corporate profits and 0.3% for tariffs. So tariffs raised inflation by 0.1% and corporate profits raised inflation by 0.7%. So 7 times more price increase than we got because of the tariffs. So maybe big companies are just using the tariffs as an excuse to raise prices.